My name is Paull Collard, and I'm the Chief Executive of an international foundation called Creativity, Culture and Education. And we put creativity, culture and education together to make learning better for all young people. We did a lot of research and we've published literature reviews and so forth about all the definitions of creativity in the world. And we came down to this set and we said these are the most important. And they are inquisitiveness, resilience, imagination, discipline and collaboration. If children and young people are socially engaged, are intellectually engaged, emotionally engaged and physically engaged, they are most present, they are most alive there. And when they are most alive and most present, then it's easy to teach them because they're there, if you do that. If you only concentrate on the intellect and you forget about emotion, social and physics, you only get 25% of the child and then you don't get the learning. So physical movement, working socially and in groups and so on and so forth, recognizing emotions, connecting emotions with the learning and so on and so forth are all fundamental to those processes. If you spend a whole day and the children have been sitting behind their desk behind the whole day, that's a low quality learning experience. You do a project when you're trying to teach children averages, and what you do is you take them outside and they run around and they time each other and they work out what the average time is for the whole class. Maths isn't sitting at a desk writing. Maths is out there. Maths is all around us. But we've made maths sitting at a desk and writing, and now it's really boring and they're not interested. And they all do very badly and we wonder why. So often in teaching, you're not addressing the problem, if you see what I mean. You're just addressing the curriculum. In a school in Norway, we were working with this group of 15, 16-year-old boys, and they're in a vocational college, and they are there to learn how to be carpenters, woodwork. But in Norway there's a law that when you go to vocational college you have to do this maths course. Now these boys, I met them when they first started and they had no learning skills at all. And I immediately realised this is a disaster. We're never going to teach them maths because I don't know how they got to 15 without ever having learned to learn anything. And this wasn't going to happen. What the teacher and the artist working together came up with is that they said, right, this is your project. You're going to have to make, because you're learning about wood, wooden shapes that can help kindergarten children learn shapes in mathematics. And they made these lovely little kits and things and so forth, and they all fitted together to make different shapes and so forth, so it was quite imaginative. And then they took them back and they played with the kids and they saw that some of it worked and some of it didn't, and then they went away and changed it and came back and said, the boys really focused on this. This was really interesting to them and they did a fantastic job. But what we were doing was trying to help them begin to learn to learn. We had to go right back to square one, but we had a method of taking them back to kindergarten, which is where they should have started learning, but in a way that they didn't realise we'd taken them back to kindergarten, but they were focusing on how do you learn about shapes, which is a basic mathematical thing. It was the analysis that said this is the problem, and unless we do this, the rest is a waste of time. In this school, the problem that the school identified is the children were not making progress learning their letters. The way we work is we send a specially trained creative professional like an artist to work with the teacher to think, all right, how should we tackle this problem that they're not listening? So in the first session, what the children are doing is just lying there listening to their school. So they lie there and they listen, and then they have a discussion about the things they heard and so forth. But then they go out about town. And what they're doing here is that they're at the railway station, but they're having to listen to all the sounds that they can hear, and then using letters invent words which reproduces that sound. What you can see in the photographs is the intense concentration of the children on what they're doing. But all they're doing is writing their letters. Go, but, which is the most boring bit of being in school, but now it's become really interesting because they're listening and they're translating the sounds back in again. And then they come back into the class, and here they're working in small groups and they're looking at each other's ideas from the notebooks, and they're working out which were the best ideas and how do we make them even better. This is one of the sheets from one of the groups, and the word at the top is stotis, which is the Lithuanian word for station, and the first word underneath that is čektikas, and that's the word that group of children invented to reproduce the sound of a train coming into the station. Čektikas, 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 čektikas. So these are all words that they have invented to help them use their letters and understand how the letters function. We got them to start listening, and now they're being inquisitive. They're going, do I hear anything special when I listen to a sculpture? The teacher didn't give answers, it set challenges to the children. Time was used very flexibly, they went out, plenty of room for their ideas and for their feelings to be expressed. They worked in groups, so it was very social, and all those things are going on. So it's not about what you teach, because you just teach the ordinary curriculum here, but it's about how you teach it and how you package it. And when you get that level of engagement from the children, then they really start learning and they really make progress very, very quickly.